You're no longer an employee. What? What do you mean? You're fired? For 2 decades, I dedicated myself to the family business, working alongside my in-laws. Then one day, my husband dropped the bombshell. I was out of a job, dismissed unceremoniously in the wake of my father-in-law's passing. The reason? Supposedly, Catherine was slated to take over. Wait, hold on. Even if Catherine steps in, someone still needs to handle accounting, I protested. Isn't that vital? Catherine's boyfriend will handle it now. There's no need for you, my husband replied coldly. I couldn't believe it. Stunned, I turned to Catherine for some semblance of reason, only to be met with a smug smile. You should learn your place, especially as an outsider with such arrogance, she sneered. Enjoy your jobless life now. Lol. When Catherine returned, I not only felt excluded as a family member but also unappreciated for my 20 years of dedication to the company. All my efforts seemed futile. My father-in-law never openly praised me, but he would adopt my suggestions if he believed they benefited the company. However, with Catherine now in charge and seemingly viewing me as an adversary, I knew things wouldn't be the same. I no longer felt any attachment to the company. Very well then, I wish you all the best in ensuring the company's survival, I told Robert and the others, making the decision to part ways with the company. My name is Emily. I had always been adept at managing finances, having studied accounting in college and subsequently securing a position as an accountant at a prominent firm. It was during my tenure there that I met Robert, a younger man whom I encountered at a bar. He mentioned that he was assisting with his parents' recycling business. Talking to Robert was refreshing. Unlike my career-driven colleagues, he was more laid back and occasionally indecisive, which brought a new dynamic to our conversations. Robert seemed to enjoy my company, and we started meeting up for drinks, exchanging contact information. As our bond grew, Robert opened up about his family, particularly his ambitious sister, Catherine, who had a strong drive to excel. Catherine went to business school and worked in a corporate job afterward. She never showed interest in the family recycling business, Robert shared with a hint of frustration. She thinks it's too mundane to mention to her friends. Lol. Despite everything, Catherine always does things her own way, Robert sighed, revealing a mix of admiration and exasperation towards his sister. As we continued sharing family anecdotes, our connection deepened. After dating for some time, Robert proposed to me. Overwhelmed with love and unable to imagine life without him, I eagerly accepted his proposal. Emily, I have a favor to ask once we're married, Robert began earnestly. I want you to leave your current job and join our family business, the recycling business. My mother handles accounting right now, but she lacks formal training. You're an expert in that area, aren't you? I want you to take over our finances. Having grown weary of corporate life, the prospect of working for a family enterprise appealed to me. I resigned from my position at the major company as soon as we were married. I started my new role as the accountant for Robert's father's company. Upon reviewing the financial records, I discovered numerous errors made by my mother-in-law, who had no formal accounting background. I began by rectifying these mistakes and implementing a comprehensive financial overhaul. As I delved deeper into the workings of the recycling business, I identified opportunities to streamline costs and increase sales. Robert, there's something important I'd like to discuss with you, I said one evening, ready to present the cost-cutting strategies and business plans I had been developing. Robert glanced over the materials I had prepared and swiftly shared his feedback. This business plan looks promising. I'll discuss it with Dad and Mom. My proposal gained approval, prompting me to dive into implementing the cost-cutting measures and new business strategies with relentless dedication, often sacrificing sleep. As a result of these efforts, the company's performance steadily improved, enabling us to expand our team with new hires. As our business flourished, we garnered attention from the local community. I took proactive steps to connect with the community, transforming our business into a local hub. As time sped by, 2 decades slipped away since I first joined the company. While my dedication endeared me to the employees and locals alike, Robert and my in-laws seemed to overlook the extent of my commitment. Emily, dear, you're working so tirelessly. Do you ever take a break? A neighbor nearby voiced concern, but Robert chuckled dismissively. Oh, she's just passionate about her work. She's fine. Besides, even on her days off, she doesn't really have any hobbies. Haha. I've known this company since Robert's parents' time, but Emily is the reason for its growth, right? You should consider giving her a substantial bonus. She's my wife, so she doesn't need a bonus. Living off the company's earnings is more than enough. Despite concerns voiced by those around me, I found fulfillment in my work and in contributing to the community. The lack of days off or bonuses didn't bother me. What did concern me, however, was Robert's frequent late nights out. Robert, you've been going out a lot at night lately. Where are you going? I'm networking, expanding my contacts. If it's for business, can't you do it during the day? Stop nagging. I have my own way of doing things. You, just an accountant, should keep quiet. I understand. Please inform me if there are any work-related issues. Yeah, sure. Robert appeared irritated, growing increasingly distant from home. One day, I received a call at home from a warehouse belonging to one of our business partners. Emily, something awful has occurred. Bob, who was there to collect the goods, collapsed suddenly. What? My father-in-law, Bob, was taken to the hospital. Unfortunately, due to the severity of his injuries from the fall, he didn't make it. The sudden death brought many of our business partners and community members to the funeral to pay their respects. After a long absence, Catherine, who had moved out after finding employment, returned and was surprised by the large turnout. I always thought this company was on the brink. When did it become so successful? She remarked. It's all thanks to Emily. She revitalized the company, boosted profits, and expanded our operations. She even proposed profit sharing, which lifted our spirits. Seeing her dedication motivates all of us, one employee explained. What's so impressive about improving a small company's performance? Catherine muttered, clearly displeased by the praise directed towards me instead of her. From then on, Catherine treated me with disdain whenever our paths crossed, dismissing me like a mere servant. Emily, I'm feeling a bit thirsty. Could you fetch me a cold drink? Hurry up, I'll make tea if you prefer. I've asked for something cold. Perhaps you don't grasp this having worked in smaller companies, but in larger ones, the boss's directives are final. Although I'm not sure you're my boss, let's not split hairs. In our family hierarchy, I'm above you. Following the funeral, Catherine summoned Robert and my mother-in-law into a separate room. Robert, Mom, I'd like to discuss our family's future. Please join me. Glancing coldly at me beside Robert, Catherine added, Emily, this is a family matter. Your presence isn't necessary. I stood stunned as Catherine ushered Robert and her mother away into another room. An hour later, Robert casually broke the news to me. I'd decided to let Catherine take over the company. Wait, what? So the family discussion was about deciding the company's next leader after Dad. Robert, not assertive enough to take the helm, and our mother, reluctant to lead, left Catherine to step forward. Seeing their hesitation, Catherine confidently offered to take on the CEO role, a proposal they readily accepted. But Catherine has never been involved in this company. Is that even wise? Stop interfering in family matters with your annoying comments, Catherine snapped. I've fought for this family and dedicated myself to this company. You can't just dismiss me like this. What? You're firing me? Wait, even if Catherine takes over, we still need someone to handle accounting, right? I've been managing it all these years. Catherine's boyfriend will take care of it now. We don't need you anymore. This is unbelievable. Know your place, Emily. Enjoy your time off. When Catherine returned, I not only felt like an outsider in the family, but also saw my 2 decades of dedication to the company dismissed as inconsequential, my job taken away. The struggles and efforts felt utterly futile. While my father-in-law never openly praised me, he valued my contributions to the company. With Catherine, who views me as a rival in charge, that respect is gone. I no longer have any attachment to this company. All right then, good luck with everything, I said as I decided to leave the company behind. After seeing Robert off, I started a new chapter at home. A few months later, Catherine and Robert unexpectedly showed up at my doorstep. Catherine, what's going on? What's this about? I asked, puzzled. Our company's performance has been declining since you left. Did you not handle the handover properly? Catherine questioned sharply. What? I did everything necessary for the handover. Why do you think the performance has dropped? Have you been reviewing the monthly expenses? You need to accurately calculate the revenue versus expenses, otherwise, you'll end up in the red. I've always handled that. I studied management, unlike you. Isn't the real issue how the business is being managed? Catherine retorted sharply. Even if that's true, if you have suggestions, we're all ears, Robert interjected patiently as I remained silent. Emily must be bored just staying at home. If you come back to help out, I can offer you some compensation, Robert suggested, his tone changing from his previous dismissal. Despite previously pushing me away, his sudden plea for my return, now that the business is struggling, leaves me uncertain. I appreciate that offer, but I decline. I have no desire to return to that company. Upon hearing my refusal, Catherine became incensed. What? You're just a full-time housewife now, and you dare to reject us like this? Don't you care about our family's company? You're the one who seems not to care, even though you're the CEO now. How can you say I don't care? Weren't you the one who used to call the company plain and boring? You only took on the CEO role because the title female CEO sounded trendy and gave you something to boast about. Don't act holier than thou. On what grounds are you making these accusations? Your boyfriend, Zach, mentioned it to me during the handover. So what? Regardless of the reason, I stepped in when there was no successor to save the company. Save the company? I believe the current downturn is because of you, Catherine. What do you mean? I often hear neighborhood customers gossiping during the day while I'm at home. They've seen you shopping with Zach and even traveling during work hours. Those were business trips. In my 20 years at the company, I've never known an accountant to go on business trips. Can you specify which clients you were meeting? Why should I disclose that to you? You're not part of the company anymore. Your boyfriend seems quite targeted in his actions. During the transition, he bragged about using company funds for shopping and travel, now that his girlfriend is CEO. Catherine's expression twisted with anger. Zach, he can't keep his mouth shut. Employees won't respect a CEO who appoints her boyfriend as accountant and misuses company funds. Isn't the issue with your actions and those of your boyfriend? My words elicited a sharp glare from Catherine. Catherine, is this true? If so, it could be considered embezzlement. That's not true. She's just making baseless accusations. Then let's audit the accounts. Zach doesn't seem to have a grasp of accounting, so any discrepancies are likely to be glaring. There should be clear evidence of misuse. Catherine's face drained of color at the suggestion. Seeing her reaction, Robert turned on her. Appointing you CEO was a mistake. I'll inform Mom and have you removed. No, I'm sorry. I made a mistake. Please forgive me. Catherine left in disgrace. Left alone, Robert turned to me with desperation. Emily, we need your help to save the company. Please come back. As I've said before, I have no intention of returning. But aren't we married? No, our marriage is over. I handed the divorce papers to Robert. What are you talking about? If you divorce without returning to work, you'll be in a tough spot. How do you plan to support yourself? I'll manage. Look, I showed Robert the job offer from the major company where I had previously worked. After being let go, I actively searched for opportunities and learned that a former colleague now worked in HR. She remembered my performance and advocated for my rehire. Just because I found a job doesn't mean we have to divorce. No, there's a reason for the divorce. I've been worried about you coming home late since just before your father passed away, so I hired a detective agency to investigate you these past months. They found plenty of evidence of your affairs. I handed Robert a photo showing you with an unknown woman. What is this? If there's proof of an affair, I'll be seeking alimony from you. With undeniable evidence before him, Robert had no choice but to agree to my terms. He signed both the divorce papers and the alimony agreement. With those documents in hand, I packed my belongings and left our home. Later on, Robert and his mother removed Catherine from her position, making Robert the company president. Simultaneously, they terminated Zach, and his mother resumed her former role in accounting. After her dismissal, Catherine struggled to secure another job, hindered by her high expectations. She eventually settled for a part-time position, becoming the subject of mockery among her social circle. It appears Catherine was only valued for her wealth. Once she took up part-time work, her partner left her for someone else, leaving Catherine swiftly abandoned. Under Robert's ineffectual leadership and his mother's lack of accounting expertise, the company's performance plummeted. Employees departed, and the company eventually went bankrupt. Robert and his mother found themselves overwhelmed by debt. Rumor had it that Robert's mistress disappeared upon learning of his financial ruin. Robert, inexperienced in corporate work, struggled to secure only part-time jobs and faced challenges in repaying his debts. He also had the responsibility of caring for his elderly mother, who couldn't work even part-time, making life difficult for them both. Meanwhile, I reacquired my former skills and am performing effectively at the major company. My return has been welcomed by former colleagues who appreciate my contributions, and I'm duly recognized and rewarded for my dedication. Finding myself valued and respected for my work reaffirms that my rightful place is where I am needed. I am committed to continuing to work diligently to meet the expectations of those who rely on